expressions. So you need to take notes. The beginning part here, we're going to understand some vocabulary. So label this one variables and expressions. The first vocab word that we're going to go over in this lesson is numerical expression. What's numerical expression? It's a mathematical phrase with only numbers and symbols. So I'm going to give you an example of a numerical expression. An example of a numerical expression would be 8 plus 5 minus 2. And I'm expressing something mathematically, but all you see are numbers, which would be 8, 5, and 2, and then symbols, the plus sign and the minus sign. We're going to talk about what a variable is, and we've already kind of discussed this idea. But the term that we're going to use for variable is a symbol that can represent one or two numbers. It's your unknown. Your variable, when we talk about it, sometimes it can be your unknown. And I'll write this here. Keeping that in mind. Unknown number. All right, make sure you take those notes. And when we use this when we're speaking of algebra, we want to know what an algebraic expression is. And that's a mathematical expression with one or more variables. So that means that it's going to be a mathematical expression, so using numbers. But then we have variables, which are going to be represented. And that's our unknown. So let me give you a few examples here. A few examples could be n plus 2. Here's my variable, and it's in a mathematical expression here, plus 2. Or I've got 5d. You know when they're side by side, that means multiply. So 5 times d, this is my variable, and equals whatever. We don't know what d is. Another algebraic expression could be 7b minus 2. Again, only numbers or letters, and I'm using them to solve an equation if I could here. Another example could be 12x divided by 3. I want you to go and look at each of the variables. Underline the variables so that you see that there's the variable in these. And this is a mathematical expression because I'm only using numbers or letters. And then I've got my symbols. Let's move on. Let's continue our thinking with this. So when I'd ask you to evaluate an expression, that means you're going to replace the variable, and then we use our knowledge of order of operations to solve. So when you evaluate, you replace the variable. So here's our example, 2x minus 8. I know I'm telling you that x equals 11, so I replace that variable, x, with the number 11. So I'm going to write my new equation over here. I replace x, so I write now 2 times 11 minus 8, because I've replaced x with the number 11. And now I can simply solve, and I use order of operations, so I'm going to multiply first. 2 times 11, that's 22, minus 8. I solve, and I get 14. So let's move on and try a few of these on our own. You guys are going to evaluate this expression. So you're evaluating 24 divided by d. And when I evaluate the expression, I replace the variable. So the d equals 3. So when I write this one out, it's 24 divided by 3. Oh, I'm going to write it in color here so that you can see that it's being replaced. 3. And now you have the information that you can solve. So go ahead and solve for 1, 2, and 3. evaluate. That's our word for replace. Okay, and let's move on. Now we're going to talk a little bit about using a T-chart. Using a T-chart. And I'm going to give you a problem. We're going to talk about how using a T-chart can be useful. Here's the problem. You earn $3 for each person who plays the game at your booth. The expression 3P, or 3 times P, we know what that is, 3 times P, represents the amount of money that you earn. So P is going to be the number of people who play the game. So I made a chart here, and what I'm basically doing is I can figure out how many people I put in, how much money I would earn. So I create a chart. In this first column over here, I've got the number of people. I'm representing people with P. The process, that means what I'm going to go through to figure out the amount of money, is I know that I'm earning $3 each, so it's 3 times P, which gives me the amount of money. So 3P equals the amount of money. So if I had 2 people playing the game, number of people, so I'm going to keep 3 the same because that's going to remain the same as $3, times 2, because there's 2 people, I would earn how much? $6. All right, let's continue this chart. I now have 5 people. I'm going to continue the process the same. The only thing that's going to change is the amount of money earned. 3 times 5 now, because I've got 5 people that are playing my game, and I would earn $15. So a T-chart can be useful when you're kind of trying to look for the pattern and the relationship between the numbers. Let's move on. We're going to complete these T-charts. And if you look back, I've labeled this as the process. And these ones, this chart over here, this is the rule or the process. All right. So we're going to work on this first chart together, and then you're going to do the second one over here in your homework. So I've got X on one side. This could be my variable. And over here, you're going to evaluate because I'm telling you what the variable is. So X plus 6, that's the rule, the process that we're going to go through. I'm replacing that because I know what it is. I've told you what X is in this first one. It's 1. So I'm going to write 1 plus 6, and that equals 7. Let's continue. 4 plus 6, this stays the same, just the variable gets changed, equals 10. Let's put 7 in now for that variable. 7 plus 6 equals 13. So you're seeing here that you're basically just replacing that variable with the number that you see. The rule is the same, or the process remains the same. I've just replaced that. So go ahead and try this one on your own. Create the chart. And this is your rule, or this is your process. And evaluate. This is 7x. You know that that means 7 times. I'm going to use a different symbol for times. Times x when they're side by side like that. So if you replace this variable x here with 2, what are you going to get? Continue that, and we'll go over it in class. All right, I'll see you tomorrow.